Hi, this is James Page and I'm here at the UKWISPA Spring members meeting. Really pleased to have been joined by UKWISPA Chairman David Byrne. David, you just gave the early speech from the stage here at the event, and the theme you're talking about today is about change direction and make more money. What's that theme? Why is that theme chosen and what does it mean?
Well, traditionally, fixed wireless has been all about rural connectivity, and the rural competitive landscape has changed a bit. It's been a bit tougher. Public funding, overbuild has meant that traditional markets have been nibbled away a little bit. So what we're now saying is, with changes in technology, the ability to sell gigabit services now, suddenly fixed wireless operators have got something that can compete with anything. So my theme is, change the direction of your access points, aim them back into the urban areas where previously it would have not really been very competitive, and sell. And so, new technology means new opportunities, and yes, the rural opportunity will remain in place, although it might shrink a little bit. So let's grab that urban landscape by the horns and make some money from it.
Okay, right. Thanks for explaining that. Of course, the urban market typically was the realm of the fibre altnets, and huge amounts of money's come into that sector. What's your assessment of where they're at the moment?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Lots more competition in urban areas, and there's a lot of altnets that have been able to raise significant sums to build new infrastructure. Now that's great, and I can imagine some of the conversations with the investors, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Here's a spreadsheet that says how easy it is to build a network that's going to pass 2 million homes. The reality of the world is that the world is quite tough and quite difficult, and there are railway crossings and there are underground pipes and gas mains and things which aren't necessarily mapped. Every one of these altnets is now behind in their build-out programs, so that's a problem. And every one of them is behind in the take-up. People are simply not subscribing to premium gigabit services if they don't need one. If their internet at home is fast enough and it's reliable enough, why bother buying a premium one? So that's causing their investors to think a little bit more carefully. The access to money is a little bit tougher. In the meantime, we've now got technology that can compete with it. So one of the things that I think is happening is the altnets are slowing down a little bit, but they're also opening their eyes to our industry, because if you go overground, partly or wholly with wireless services, things can be done a lot quicker, and things can be done more predictably, and things can be done less expensively in many cases. So it's a big change.
It is. So what do you foresee the future to be there? Is that the fixed wireless access providers are going to be competing directly with the fixed and fibre guys, or do you foresee some sort of hybrid and some sort of linkage between the two disciplines?
Yeah, I think hybrid is the way to go. If you're like proficient in the language of fibre and proficient in the language of wireless, every job, every city, every town, every province, you can tackle it in a personalised way that is the most efficient to cover the most ground with the least money. One of the challenges to that, of course, is that the UK government's funding programme is a bit fibre biased. It's very easy for a minister to stand up and use a few buzzwords like gigabit, like fibre, 5G and so on. And in some ways, our fixed wireless industry has been a little bit left behind, but the technology is phenomenal now. Multi-gigabit connectivity inexpensively is possible. There are new parts of the spectrum band being opened up from next year as well. That's going to mean multi-gigabit at 5, 6, 7 kilometres. That's a real game changer. But the government policymakers behind Project Gigabit are a little bit behind the scenes, a little bit behind the times, and they are not encouraging this opportunity that will save the country an awful lot of time and an awful lot of money.
Great, so presumably there's lots of members who are here today who are seeing that opportunity as well. How's this differing from other events you've had?
Well, much more talk about gigabit, much more talk about hybrid fibre and wireless. People now who have done both and tried both, maybe even fixed wireless people traditionally have switched to fibre a couple of years ago, now switching back to wireless because they recognise it overcomes a lot of the problems. And new operators joining us as well, new technology vendors. So I think the messages are very, very clear. Hybrid is the way forward, Gigabit Plus is the way forward, and now the technology landscape allows us to do that, which is a fantastic opportunity for us.
Great, brilliant. Well, thank you for taking some time. I know it's a busy day for you, so we'll let you get back to it. But thank you for explaining that all to us.
My pleasure, thank you.
you.